Welcome everyone to the first public demo of my passion project Planarly. Planarly is an Affero GPL licensed open source research project that explores the potential of spreadsheets as a general-purpose two-dimensional programming environment. You don't need to be a programmer to use Planarly. In fact, Planarly takes a conventional spreadsheet user and gently introduces proper programming habits and later, more advanced topics. But always in the familiar context of spreadsheets and cells. You may follow along this demo by going to app.planarly.com. Chrome in incognito mode is strongly recommended. The application runs entirely within your browser. Your data never leaves your computer. I hope you find some ideas interesting in this demo. Let's start with an example of tabulating data on a few freelancers. We'll start by assigning a cell label name and type some names. If we just type Anna, Planarly will interpret that as referencing the cell Anna, which doesn't exist. So we need to prefix Anna with a single quote, making the remainder of the cell formula a literal string, Anna. We'll add a few more names. Bella, Crystal, Dylan. Now the hourly rates and hours columns. Since these are numbers and hence valid formulas, we don't need the leading single quote here. To calculate the amount owed to the first freelancer, Anna, we'd use the formula hourly times hours. In a conventional spreadsheet, we then drag this formula to fill the rest of the cells. But in Planarly we avoid duplicating code, just like in any other programming language. So we define cell label zname. In Planarly, all names with a capitalized first letter are reserved. And zname is a special naming convention that defines the end of the name region. With labels name and zname defined, we can use the formula hashname to reference the whole name region. Notice how the value of a cell spills to neighboring cells if its formula evaluates to more than a single value. Now we do the same to the other columns. Let's verify that #hourly and #hours work. We can now calculate the entire amount column as #hourly times #hours. Hooray to vector math! We can see that #amount already works without defining zamount. This is because if undefined, zamount defaults to the end of the spill area of the amount cell. Of course, if we explicitly define zamount to be somewhere else, then #amount will update accordingly. Since #amount is defined, the formula for its total is just sum #amount. The only data structure in Planarly is a table, a rectangular region of cells. For example, hourly:(z hours is this 4-row 2-column region. In fact, hashname is simply short for name:(zname). Tables can be concatenated horizontally with the ampersand operator. and vertically with the / operator. When both are mixed, the ampersands are evaluated first. Another example, let's call it style. This convention of putting the keys in the first column and their values on the right is called a struct. The language has some built-in support for structs. For example, the square bracket operator. Say we wish to highlight the rows with an amount more than $3,000. We can make a style like this, using the CSS color property. The where function goes through its first argument cell by cell, replacing every true with its second argument and every false with its third argument. Now we apply this property to the entire table, from name to Z amount. Good. The color style is only 4 rows and 1 column, not enough to cover the entire table. So Planarly would tile the style specification. That's how these entire rows are highlighted. Now let's try moving around the sheet. 2 cells below name. Similarly, caret moves up. Greater than moves right. Less than moves left. To look up Crystal's hourly rate, we can use the row column operator. It represents the intersection of the rows of its left operand and the columns of its right operand. There's also a column row operator, representing the intersection of the columns of its left operand and the rows of its right operand. To look up a cell based on its value, we have the backtick operator. Backtick ANA locates the cell containing the value ANA. But we can't use it on its own, otherwise this cell would also evaluate to ANA, making the ANA lookup ambiguous. But we can look up ANA's hourly rate like this. If we don't want to manually define labels like zname, we can use the go and grow functions. Go south name starts from the cell name, and keeps moving down until a blank cell is encountered. Its result is the last non-blank cell visited. Grow south name at similarly, except that its result is the entire visited region. Similarly, we have go east and grow east. These functions are useful when working with tables. For instance, we can rewrite the amount formula like this. The grow southeast function is particularly useful for selecting an entire table. It keeps growing down or to the right, until the region is completely bordered by blanks on the bottom and right edges. You've come to the end of the first public demo of Planarly. Check out our website www.planarly.com, where you can try Planarly yourself. The software is being actively developed and just reached a usable state, so please be patient if you encounter any bugs. The application runs entirely in your browser. The execution engine is written in C++ and compiled to WASM. We do not store any user data unless explicitly requested by you. Do let us know any bug reports, suggestions, ideas in the comments section. And follow me on Twitter, Dr. Planer. In the next video coming soon, we will talk about making a chart with the freelancer data by formatting a JSON string. Stay tuned and see you next time.